Hey guys, what's going on? It's Andrew from AR Media. In tonight's video, I'm going to go over my top 5 2K to 4K upscale 4K Blu-rays. Now, I know this is a hot topic, whether it's real 4K and fake 4K, so I'm going to go over my top 5 2K to 4K upscales and let you know which ones are worth picking up. Let's get to it. So first up on the list has to be Guardians Volume 2. Now this was a 2K digital intermediate upscale to 4K, and this is actually my new reference disc. In my opinion, this is one of the best discs on the format. I think this disc is just amazing. The Dolby Vision stream was also amazing. I think the 2K to 4K upscale just brought a very, very nice increase in detail and depth. And overall, it was just a very good transfer. Definitely worth the pickup and not fake 4K by any means. The HDR really saved this one with a bright and vivid presentation. Highly recommended. Next up, we got TheShallows. So this was an earlier release. This was actually before I was even reviewing 4K Blu-rays this got released. And I love this movie. I'm a huge sucker for survival movies, huge sucker for shark movies, and this was a 2K digital intermediate upscaled to 4K, a sturdy release, and an amazing transfer. This is a very, very clean transfer. There is no grain at all, digitally shot, and it is beautiful. You can see every speck of detail. There is a ton of depth here, and the HDR, again, is the star of the show, taking over with the luscious ocean blues, and really this is one of the best discs I own, and one of my favorite movies to watch out of the 4K discs I own. Next up, we got John Wick Chapter 2. Now, John Wick 1 was actually a 4K digital intermediate, and this was a 2K digital intermediate. Yet, I think this looked better than John Wick 1. The 2K upscale here, really, this looks like a 4K digital intermediate presentation. There's a huge amount of increase in detail and depth. There's a huge amount of increase in clarity. You can make out everything on Keanu Reeves' face. That is for sure. Now again, the star of the show here is the HDR. The HDR in John Wick 2, the neon lighting really just blows it off the TV. It looks absolutely amazing. Highly recommend you pick this one up. This, I know it's not a 4K digital intermediate, but that does not mean it is not a good 4K transfer. Amazing 4K transfer. Highly recommended. Next up, we got Pacific Rim. Now, this is again an earlier release, and this one is also fantastic. 2K digital intermediate, upscaled to 4K, and this is still a disc I bust out to show people how good the 4K format is. The HUDs of inside the suits are just ridiculous. They pop off the screen with the HDR. The detail here is very good. This is a large increase over the standard Blu-ray, and that just shows that the 2K to 4K upscale really does stand strong on some releases. Highly recommend picking this up. One of the best HDR discs, I would say, on the format. And next up, I would say, is kind of a tie between Life and between Deepwater Horizon. And I'll go over both of them because I feel like they're kind of similar in my aspects of how good the transfers are. Now, both of these movies just really, really look good. They're both digitally shot, very clean. A nice increase in detail on both these movies. Life specifically inside the space station and outside in space. The deep inky blacks, the HDR highlights inside and outside the spaceship are just fantastic. And Life is a very good presentation. And Deepwater Horizon is another one that I really felt needed to make the list, because when I first watched this, I was just really, really blown away by the format because, one, I really like this movie, and two, there's just, if you've seen the movie, there's tons of explosions, there's tons of HDR highlights, just the way the red pops off the screen just from their suits, and I'm not even talking about the fire, just from their suits. This presentation is really impeccable, and the detail you see on Mark Wahlberg's face and his clothing is just out of this world, and it shows that the 2K digital intermediate still provides a great transfer. Anyway, guys, I hope you like this. I know that I may get some trash in the comments from people who believe that only 4K digital intermediates should come out. And believe me, I agree with you that 4K digital intermediates I prefer. The next video I make is going to be the top 5 4K digital intermediate 4K Blu-rays. So you can look forward to that next. And yeah, let me know if you like this video, comment down below, subscribe down below for more content, and have a good night, guys.